myself, yeah, my name is Laura Marr. I'm the kind of volunteer coordinator for Brainwaves. This is actually my third year doing this. And I actually started with Brainwaves back in my first year of university, or at UBC. I'm now like an alumni of UBC. But yeah, I was a volunteer presenter just like you guys. And so when I came in, of course, there was no COVID. And so our presentations were in person. So was our training. I think I went to Children's Hospital to do my training. And yeah, and so things look very different now, unfortunately, but you know, we can still kind of trudge on. Yeah, and so this is actually going to be our second year now of doing our online presentations. And so last year is kind of like a pilot project. We had scrambled real quick to like make a whole bunch of videos so that we could even do an online presentation. And so it was awesome. I think like Angus is in this chat and he helped us create some of the videos as well. And so, yeah, volunteers like you guys helped me and we created a whole bunch of videos, and that's the content that we actually use now across Canada for Brainwaves to present. And so, yeah, last year went pretty good. We presented to 10 classes. And so, you know, that's kind of, it's quite a few. It's like about 300 students or so that we were able to reach. So it's pretty good. And this year already we have like an abundance of schools interested. So we've got, we'll have a lot of volunteer opportunities for you guys. And because we've got like Brendan's help and Alyssa as well, which was unable to make it tonight, but they've been kind of handling the schools for me. And so that's been super, super, super helpful. And so we've actually already got presentations kind of tentatively lined up for the UBC reading break, kind of between February 22nd to 25th. And so I'll kind of be showing you guys that, and then everyone can kind of sign up already. And then, of course, we have our presentations that actually go all the way until the end of June, just like when the kids get out of school. And so we'll see kind of how we do for the presentations. I think we've got like 30 schools interested already. So that's a lot. And so we'll kind of just see what we can handle and how many presentations we want to do. But usually reading break is our focus, just because like if you guys are UBC students currently, then you know, ideally you don't have classes, and of course the kids have school during the day. So it just lines up well, and it's a good opportunity for us to just get a whole bunch of presentations out of the way. And then also it's early on, so then kind of you're all set up and it's easy kind of for the rest of the time. So I'll kind of, I guess, talk about brainwaves as well. Just some of you may be a little bit unfamiliar. Let me just see, let's bring this up. Okay, so yeah, so Brainwaves is a neuroscience education program. So it's developed by neuroscientists from U of T. So the main focus of it is kind of educating students on how fascinating the brain is, kind of like the complexities that are involved, or we kind of start to explore those. And just like kind of we hope that they realize the importance of kind of all of those moving parts and between our brain and our bodies and everything that sustains our lives. They really kind of grasp that importance, and then in turn that kind of more intrinsically motivates them to like protect their brains and protect others as well. And so that translates into like playing safer and wearing helmets. And so essentially it's just kind of like a fun and interactive neuroscience lesson, but it's really kind of about promoting injury prevention. And so that's kind of where like we come in here. So in Vancouver, this program is run out of the BC Injury Research and Prevention Unit at Children's Hospital. And so that's kind of why those kind of things align. And so you'll see Parachute as well all over our website and things. And so Parachute is kind of like this umbrella organization, and Brainwaves is like a part of that. So yeah, and then this runs all over Canada, like I said. And so here in Vancouver, we are out of BC Injury Research and Prevention Unit at Children's Hospital. And so, yeah, our program is mainly geared for grades like 3 to 5. It's fairly flexible. We can do like grades 2 to 6, even more so. We can kind of tailor our material, but 3 to 5 is kind of like our sweet spot. And then we cover a whole bunch of topics to kind of get that central message of like your brain's importance and why we need to protect it across. And so we kind of start with like just simple things like the neuron, just kind of talking about what it is, what it does, how it works, where we have them. And then we kind of go into all of the senses. So like smell, taste, like vision, all of those types of things. And we kind of tie everything in. And then at the end, we talk about kind of like concussions and just kind of brain injuries, and that trying to get that central message across, of course. And like I said, normally these are done in person, and they're quite fun. Like I really enjoyed doing mine. You kind of like you bring a Jello brain with you. Like we have molds and everything. I've got probably like 35 of them in my childhood bedroom that I'm storing at my parents' house right now. And like we do a whole bunch of like taste testing with them. And we're like, of course, in the physical school, we like spend the whole day there. Like and we kind of like get pizza at lunch and everything. It's usually it's really fun, and the kids like it's very interactive. And so hopefully, you know, someday we get to that point again. But in the meantime, we're of course online so that we can continue doing this at least. Yeah, and then so that's essentially what we are as Brainwaves. We are like this group of students who are just like really passionate about neuroscience and knowledgeable, and we kind of understand now that we're older this kind of greater importance of that's this role that our brains play. Of course, like we are nothing without our brains, and so we of course get that message, but we want that message to get across to the kids. And so it's kind of providing that why behind the parents are always nagging them about wearing helmets, playing safer. And we try to want them to get that greater understanding kind of ahead of their age, perhaps. And so maybe they'll listen and maybe they'll wear their helmets. That's the hope, at least. We can try. So yeah, so that's kind of essentially what we do. And so I guess like volunteering with Brainwaves for you, what that looks like is it is nice because there's no like time commitment. We're not asking for you to commit yourself like 2 or 3 hours every week or something. It's actually like purely sign up based. So we have a whole bunch of presentations lined up and certain times, and then you yourself, if it fits your schedule and you want to do it, then you sign up. And then you can do, you kind of do this kind of, you'll have, we do about 2 to 3 presenters per class. And so you'll work with other volunteers. I'll share your guys' some contact details. So ahead of time, you guys can chat. It's a lot like a group project, but hopefully a little more fun and easier. But yeah, it's essentially, you guys will chat a little bit and talk about, okay, which I'll cover these topics, you cover these topics. And then you kind of, we have like slide shows, kind of like PowerPoint slide sets we can share with you guys. And all these videos, I'll go over them in a second, but yeah, you guys will talk about like who's going to cover what, kind of what order you'll go in, and perhaps you would make like a little bit of a script for yourself. So things like that. And yeah, so there's some prep involved, but then really though, once you do one presentation, they're all the same. So you can essentially, you do that prep like one time, and then you can present as many times as you want. And even you could even just cover the same topics every single time, or you could switch topics or things like that. So it's ideally you kind of put the work in initially with your first presentation, and then you've got this framework, and you'll see very quickly after doing the one presentation how the rest of them will just become very, very simple for you and just easier as you go along. Yeah, and then it won't take you as long, of course, for the prep for the future presentations. And then we don't have like a minimum. You don't like, if you never sign up for a presentation, that's okay. Like if you can't do one, you can always like kind of hang in with us and you can volunteer in the future, or you can do as many as you want alternatively. So it's totally up to you. I'll talk about it in a second, but it's just like about signing up, and you can just basically put your name down for anything that you can do. And then we might just kind of take a look at names and try to make it fair and then match people up and stuff like that to confirm them later. But you can just sign up for whatever you want to do. So there's a lot of flexibility, which is kind of how I at least like to do it. Yeah, so I'm going to try to screen share here. I haven't led a Zoom meeting in a very long time. So, all right, I think it'll work. So hopefully you're seeing a Google Doc. So I'm going to send out an email. Don't worry, you won't have a link to this yet, but I'm going to send out an email probably tomorrow with information like this that I'm sharing with you guys today, because of course a lot of our volunteers aren't joining us tonight. And so you're just kind of getting a little glimpse ahead of time. And so this is essentially what I was hoping to be. We used this same framework last year. It's like the central Google Doc. Ideally, you'll like have this link and you'll just kind of bookmark it. And then that way, any information pertaining to brainwaves, for the most part, is like basically all can be found on this Google Doc. And I'll constantly kind of update it for us and add whatever's relevant to what we're doing at the time to the Google Doc, and take out anything that is no longer applicable to us. And so, yeah, you can just refer to this, and then they'll have links to any other resources right from here. So you've only got this one Google Doc that you need to track down. And so I've that's the part I said at the top there. And so there's like a little to-do list here. Basically, the first thing is this. I think hopefully if I switch tabs, you guys can see it with me. Actually, I'll show that after. But I've got, like I said, we have some schools lined up already. So there's kind of like a Google chart that will open up, and then you can sign up for presentations during reading break. And so we've just asked that you guys kind of go through and do sign up for what you can. That way we can shoot the kind of teachers an email and say, hey, like we can confirm this time, or we can start doing that process of confirming the times with them. And then the next thing I need you guys to do is look at doing a criminal record check. And so we have, I will be sending, like I said, I'll send an email soon or tomorrow with the form. So it's a criminal record check. You just fill out the form. It shouldn't take too long. And then we just need some like scans of your ID, photo ID. And I'll send some more information specifically about the photo ID. And then what you'll do is you'll email it to someone here. There's the email. And then we just ask that once you do that, once you do the criminal record process, so that you just add your name to the list down here. That way I have a sense of who's done it, who hasn't done it. And these are names from last year of people that we rolled over because we have them on file. And then those volunteers that have been with me from my first year, I think we're asking that you guys do it again. So yeah. And then otherwise just monitoring your inbox, because I'll kind of send some more emails as we go. I try not to like totally spam you guys. I'll try. And then, yeah, so then down below too, resources. So I'm going to go through all these resources with you guys, but it is great because Brainwave has been around for a while now. And so they've got a lot of resources for everyone. And so like, first of all, the information is quite simple, of course, because we're presenting to kids. And so I think I like pretty much learned most of it in like grade 12 biology / first year, perhaps. And so hopefully it's quite familiar, easy to grasp for you guys. I think it will be. But either way, the instructor guide essentially gives you all the background information that you need to know to do a presentation. And it follows like the structure of the presentation as well. It gives you ideas of questions to ask the class, or like talking points, activities, and then just provides that background information. So I think I have it open already. So yeah, this is the instructor guide. And so that's just the link from the Google Doc there. And you'll see it's quite long, but you don't need most of this. This is made for the in-person version. And so it's, and like I said before, we have those videos. And so the video is actually like I should say this quick, the structure of the presentation is essentially, like I said, it's like presenting a slideshow, like a kind of online project over Zoom. And so I will host the Zoom meeting, and you guys will just join it. So will the class. And then I'll make you guys co-hosts so that you can kind of take over the meeting. And then ideally you guys kind of are running the Zoom meeting almost like a group project or presentation to a class, because it's essentially the same. And so usually the teacher will set up, we ask them ahead of time to set up, like you guys will be up on a projector, so that the whole class can see the screen and everything, and they can hear you. And then in turn, like they set up a camera at the front of the classroom so you can see all the students, and you can see like when their hands are up. And then the teacher is like the MC kind of thing, where they like run around and they go, okay, like John, you can answer. And it actually worked really well. I was very surprised how smoothly it went. I think the teachers just fall into that role so naturally. And we even had like 2 classes join at once. And so that also worked really well. And so things like that, that's kind of generally how it goes. And then you will have kind of someone share their screen and you've got this PowerPoint slide set. And then in there you have anything you need kind of to go through the presentation, activities, various things. So you're just going through the slideshow and doing that presentation. And then we've got videos for you that you can embed for each topic. And I actually have the PowerPoint slide set with the videos embedded and I can send it to you, things like that. So it's already actually done for you. And then you guys kind of just go through, trade topics. And so essentially for each topic, it is kind of like, for example, the neuron, you'll do like a little brief explanation of the neuron. And then you'll play this video, which actually goes through the topic again. And I'll show you guys an example of the videos in a minute. And then you will kind of reconvene as a class, kind of fill in any extra gaps of the information that the video wasn't able to cover, and then perhaps do like a quick little activity, which the slide sets have them in there already. And yeah, just any questions that the class has, or if anyone wants to share anything, things like that. And then you essentially just move on to the next topic and then repeat the similar process where you do a little blurb about it, play the video, reconvene as a class, next topic. And so you just go through all the topics in a similar fashion. And so, yeah, that's this. And then that's like how all of our resources are set up. So we've got like all the topics here. So neuron, it gives you like this background information. This is for in person, but it's like an activity suggestion. So then it goes through anatomy. That's the next one. So just goes over the different lobes of the brain, kind of based like at the base level, what they do. And then, yeah, like this has got questions and answers that you could ask, just like ideas for you. And then it goes through the senses, which is the bulk of the presentation, is all these different senses. So like smell, you go over like how it works, things like that. So yeah, all that information is there for you. So you don't have to kind of do any like research or anything like that, but at least it's kind of fun because you can like bring any tidbits and extra facts or better ways of explaining perhaps from like your own knowledge that you've been learning in your own programs. So that's that one, instructor guide. And we also have here the activity booklet, because typically we hand these out and all the kids have them in front of them and then they're like coloring and doing things as we go along. This year, it's kind of, we'll do the same thing as last year where we tell them the teachers, we just provide this to the teachers and they can print it out if they want, but they don't have to because, so it's kind of, we're not assuming that the kids will have it in front of them. It's just kind of something they might have. And so kind of do with that what you will, but it's kind of nice because you can see, maybe like for these like grades 3 to 5 year olds, like what the information is looking like on their side of everything. So yeah, because we will send this to the teachers. And so the students will, I think, theoretically have access to this somehow. But yeah, so it just goes through the topics, same exact order. And it's just kind of showing you the different things. So you can also draw from here for the instructor guide goes along with this. So it goes over the same kind of activities, topics, questions, things like that. There's like little facts at the bottom. Yeah, and then there's another link to resources. So this is our website. And so it'll bring you to the website when you click on the link. And there's all these different resources for you. So all the ones I just showed you are right here. The activity booklets, the full presentation. So they give you some PowerPoint templates that are already done for you. So you can either use the full presentation from this website, you can use the short presentation, or I can send you one that has like videos embedded. That's an example of, it's actually a slide set that volunteers from last year had sent to me after they presented. So they're like totally done. And I can send that to you and you can adapt that how you wish with your group members. And then those videos I was talking about are all here as well. So you can save them, play them. They're also available on YouTube. So if you want YouTube links instead, I've got all of those. And so I can provide those to you. But otherwise, these are just like a download version. And you don't need the internet once you have them. So they maybe work best. Yeah, and then we have the people who helped create them there. So yeah, and I'll play, maybe I'll play a couple videos for you guys quick, just so you have an idea. Let me see, now I have to share something different. See if I can figure it out. Okay, which one is this? Oh, I'll show you the PowerPoint real quick too, just so you have an idea. So this is one that somebody sent me from like a volunteer from last year. So this is kind of an example of what the presentation looks like. So yeah, you can see all the different slides here. There's like some activities like this. And it's already preset so that when you hit the space, of course, like the answer doesn't pop up when you hit the question as well. And then they've embedded the videos that way that they just like keep it on the slideshow the whole time, and then it'll play through the YouTube link. And so, like I said, I can provide the slideshow, the YouTube links, anything you guys want. I'll make sure that's all available to you. Yeah, and so it just goes through a whole bunch of stuff. It's good. It's got pictures, things like that. And yeah, just goes through all the topics, and there's like a few activities as well. Things like this, it's like this thing where you like stare at it. But the instructor guide goes over how to do any of these activities as well. Things like the reversible figures. Oh yeah, so that's that one. And let's see what else I was going to show you guys. I'll show you our introduction video, because it also is kind of helpful for you to see, because it just explains sort of how it works. So I just want to see what you guys are seeing. If it's the right one. Okay, share. Now I just have to find the right one. So I can see. Okay, so I'll play this and then I'll shush so you can hear it. Hello, thank you for joining this virtual Brainwaves class presentation. Our Brainwaves team is thrilled to welcome you all to this fun learning experience. My name is Laura, and I will be your virtual host. You may have already met your virtual classroom leaders for today through Zoom before this video. These leaders and myself will be walking you through various lessons about the brain, why protecting it is so important, and we hope we will have a fun time while doing so. Our brains are our most important organ, thus we rely on it for so many things. Since we only have one brain, it's important that we try our best to keep ourselves and others safe. So let's explore together all the fascinating things the brain has to offer and how we can best protect it. Today we will learn about the neuron, brain anatomy, smell, taste, vision, hearing, touch, and concussions. Don't worry if you don't know much about these topics. We'll be starting from the basics, and we won't get too complicated with it. We suggest that you follow along in your activity booklet as we go through each topic. Or if you don't have a paper copy, you can always look at a virtual version. Either way, we hope you enjoy learning with us today. For now, I'll pass you back to your virtual classroom leaders. Bye for now. Perfect. Yeah, so that's hopefully that kind of gives you an introduction as well, just to what it looks like. And so that's kind of the first video that you'll play right away, just to also explain to the students kind of what to expect. Yeah, and then there's a whole bunch of different videos, and so I suggest you check them out. Maybe I'll I've got a hearing one queued up, but maybe I'll just leave that and you guys can easily watch them. It's kind of fun. They just go through the different topics, and they're all a little bit different because we had different volunteers make every single one of them. So they're all kind of unique in their own way, which is really neat. Yeah, let's see, anything else? Yeah, I guess that I also want to show you guys the sign up sheet, and then if you have any questions or anything, we can definitely go over that. Let's just see, but okay, so let's see here. Okay, so yeah, so this link is actually yeah, it's in the that main central Google Doc I was talking about. You can just click on it and it'll bring you to this. And so this is the thing on that kind of to-do list that we asked that you guys do. And so as soon as I send out the Google Doc, that central one that'll lead you to this, you can just start signing up for things. Because yeah, it's relatively simple, I think, to do the presentations, hopefully. And I'm always here if you have any questions or concerns, or you just want to like go over things before. But we also will probably try to pair you guys up with someone who's presented before, just to make everything easier for everybody. But yeah, so we've got more lined up ahead of time, but these are the ones we have lined up kind of tentatively for reading break. And so that's kind of like our main concern, because that's approaching next month. And so you can see sort of the day, the estimated time, and then like the grade, just, I don't know, if in case you're curious. And so hopefully that kind of will let you look at your schedule and see where you might be able to help out. And so, yeah, and then there's lots of slots here. There's no like limit. You can just put your name kind of anywhere and everywhere that you can present. And then later, if you're kind of like, oh, I put my name down like 6 times, but I would like to do maybe a max of 2 presentations, that's fine. We'll figure that all out. Ideally, we just see who's available and just see like, oh, we've got like 7 volunteers who can do this time. Then we can kind of, it gives us an idea of like that we can probably get to confirming with the teachers and stuff about the times. And then we can confirm with you guys as well that yes, we would like you to present and here are your group mates kind of thing. Yeah, and so that's the main thing that I wanted to cover tonight. And I hope that that's pretty clear. The Google Doc also kind of has very specific instructions for like before a presentation, kind of like what maybe like things you should be doing. And then like right before, for example, like we would like that you join a bit early to the meetings so that we can just chat and you know, practice sharing your screen, and everyone can just get queued up and just comfortable before the class joins. Then it even talks about like after the presentation and during the presentation. Like, of course, you know, it's just like school, right? Like we want it to be professional. And so we just want to make sure that that we are kind of equipping ourselves to be presenting to a bunch of children. But I trust that everybody kind of is used to that, especially now with online school and things like that. So before we kind of wrap up, does anyone have any questions for me or anything? Yeah, you can just unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question about the training. So are we just doing the instructor's guides and that's kind of like the training that we get, or are we meeting with like alumni? If I mean, for first year volunteers, are we meeting with anybody to just kind of like do a practice run, or is the practice going to be in front of 38-year-olds?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, that's a very good question, because yeah, no, we can basically do as much prep as you guys like. And so typically we did like a little bit lengthier version of this online last year, and we kind of went through a topic. But yeah, I think what I will do, like it is kind of in our plans already. Like you said, just so you're not practicing for the first time, like in front of kids and stuff, we'll probably do like an office hours type situation. Like I know it's very synonymous to school, but yeah, so essentially you will sign up kind of for a presentation that you would like to do. And then we have your group members, and then we'd like you guys to at least talk with your group members and just start trying to put your presentation together. And I think you will find that when you start to put it together, you just look at the instructor guide and you go, okay, I'm going to cover the neuron, smell, and taste. And then you look at the slides and you look at the instructor guide. I think it will kind of click, and it'll really show you like kind of what you would say and how you will like map the presentation out. But certainly, yeah, there will be more help for you before you just jump into a presentation. And so I'll be definitely making myself available for big chunks of time. It'll be on Zoom, unfortunately, of course, but yeah, and where we can just go over things like that. Your whole group could drop in. We can even figure out with your group what time works, and I can just meet just with your group. We can go through your presentation, things like that. And like I said too, we will try to pair, like put someone who's done a presentation like this even many times in a group with anyone new, so that they also can advise you as well, and just make sure that you're on the right track. Also, you could tune in to a presentation as well. So let's say you present on like February 25th, you could join a presentation on like February 22nd and just watch it as well if you'd like. That's probably quite helpful. Yeah, and so I see there's another raised hand. You can just go ahead and unmute. Hopefully that answered your question.
Oh yeah, I had a question about something you were talking about at the very end. Is there going to be any like recorded presentations we could watch maybe as a reference?
Yeah, I don't have any from last year. We never recorded any, but we will probably consider, I think that would be very helpful, right? And so I think we will try to see if this year, maybe I will have to reach out to a few people, because we had some volunteers who did like a lot of presentations like this last year and they were really great. And so we could try to ask them to do maybe like the first presentation this year and like a little star squad, and just like be a nice example. We'll record that one and make that available to you guys, just so you can kind of see what covering your topic could look like, and you can kind of mirror it, things like that. Yeah, no,
that'd be great, because then we can like tell what sort of language they're using and like how they're interacting with the children. That'd be a big help.
Yeah, no, for sure. I like that idea. I'll write it down so that we make sure that kind of we have that available for you.
Okay, awesome.